Okay, so this is bitterly disappointing for me, but I just finished filming this video and realized I forgot to put on my super cool Good Place t-shirt. How sad. So while you watch this video, just pretend I'm wearing this shirt. What's up everyone, my name is Kelsey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a book tag. It's been a while, but this is the Goodbye Good Place book tag. It was created by Tate over at Bookish Constellations. I'm going to link their video in the description so you can check it out. If you weren't aware, The Good Place had its series finale just a few weeks ago. I really loved this show, and this is just a little book tag in appreciation. So question 1, Eleanor, a book with the best character development. So for this I don't own the physical book, I have Gnome from The Fever King and the Electric Air by Victoria Lee. I guess really either Gnome or Dara could be best character development. And throughout these two books, Gnome just goes, he changes so much from his like bitter, closed off beginnings to the end of the book and the way his relationships develop with other people. And even, it's not like a linear progression, which is where I don't know, I see that sometimes in young adult books where it's like we start out with one kind of person and then they change over time to another kind of person. And Gnome's character development is more like because he does some stupid shit and he makes some bad decisions and he is manipulated by terrible people to do bad things. And I mean, it really makes him grow, and he just changes so much from beginning to end. Question 2, Chidi, a book that made you anxious reading it. So for this I have They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I didn't enjoy this book. I actually owned it. I think I unhauled it already, but something I have discovered that makes me very anxious is books where people know when or how they're going to die. I just cannot deal reading about it. It makes me terrified to think about knowing when I'm going to die. So like the whole book is just a countdown because they get a message from Deathcast telling them they're going to die in the next 24 hours. And that idea terrifies me. Question 3, Tahani, a rich, ignorant, judgmental character who's humbled. And for this, I'm going to go with Cryer's War by Nina Varela, and the character is Cryer because she is the creation of the Autumn ruler in this world. So, I mean, in like our standards, she's a princess and she'll one day take over. And in this world, Autumn are the rulers and humans are less than, and they're treated that way. So throughout this book, Cryer changes from someone who feels like she is owed things because of her status and become someone that knows she has to make things happen. Question 4, Jason, a character who is smarter or wiser than they seem. And just a quick note here that Jason is one of my favorite characters in this show, and it's because so often in media and even in the news, there's this, people correlate a lack of intelligence with evil or badness or bad people, and it makes me so sad to see that, and Jason is a great example of why that doesn't have to be. He's not super intelligent, he's not book smart, he doesn't know a lot of facts, but he is emotionally intelligent and learns about other people in a different way. For this I have Quinn St. Nicholas from The Last Sun and the Tarot Sequence, and in these books Quinn is a seer. So he can sort of see possible futures, and because of this and because of the scatteredness of his mind and all of the possibilities that he's always seeing, he comes off very ditzy at times, but in reality Quinn is like a very powerful person. He's just also very kind and soft. It's one of my favorite characters in these books. I just love him so much. I just want to protect him. Okay, question 5, a book you would want to be the architect for to make it more intricate, or a world made perfectly down to every blade of grass. Okay, so I decided to go with Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, and I just think this is an excellently built world. It's sort of a dystopian, so it's rooted in our world, but it takes place in the future after some climate disasters have sort of changed the way people live. And there's also some like mythological world building based on Native American legends. But really, I think the strength of this world building is how realistic the living situation feels and how Rebecca Roanhorse made the climate feel so tangible. That's a good word. Like you read this and you can feel the atmosphere that Rebecca Roanhorse is building. Next. Janet, favorite non-human character. Bonus points if they don't adhere to the binary. So most of my favorite characters tend to be not human, or at least like human plus. Human plus superpowers, human plus magic, that kind of thing. But for this, I'm going with Murderbot from the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. And what's interesting about Murderbot is I've talked about these books in past wrap-ups, and Murderbot does not adhere to the binary, but for some reason I've always referred to Murderbot as he. I think it's because I listened to the audiobook and the narrator has a vaguely masculine voice, so I just made that assumption. But I saw this really interesting discussion on Twitter where people reading the physical book just automatically assigned Murderbot their own gender identity without thinking about it too much. So I thought that was interesting, and Murderbot does not adhere to the binary. And they're just a great character. They question their humanity, and like technically Murderbot is a robot. They have no humanity. But that sort of discussion of artificial intelligence and humanity is really well done in these books, and they're also just funny and entertaining. All right, question 7. Good Place. A book that should have been perfect but somehow fell flat anyways. For this, I'm going with Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is a future dystopian superhero book, which sounds right up my alley, and I should have loved it. But instead, I disliked it. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I thought the writing wasn't great. The book was way too long and had a lot of scenes that should have been culled, and it was very repetitive, especially the main character, Nova is her name, repeats the same things over and over. Like the same... It's just, I listened to the audiobook, so it was like really emphasized for me every time the narrator said these same thoughts that Nova has multiple times, and it just drove me so crazy. I also felt like the villains were like comically overdramatic. Like it very much felt like a kid's superhero movie instead of like a realistic portrayal. I mean, I know it's young adult, but still. Okay, number 8, Bad Place. Book you would use to torture people or would be torture for you. I have 2 answers for this, and one is going to be Sex Positive, which I recently did a rant review for, and I'll link it up above. I hated it so much. But also Beastly by Alex Flynn, which is one of my worst books of last year because it's a very mid-2000s YA. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. You might have seen the movie with Vanessa Hudgens, and it was just bad. Like a genuinely not good book. Like I can say that objectively. Okay, question 9, philosophy class. Book that turned a trope or idea on its head and did it in a creative new way. So for this I have the Book of the Unnamed Midwife by Meg Ellison, and this is a apocalyptic dystopian story following a woman who is determined to disguise herself like a man because this disease that is wiping out the population primarily affects women or AFAB people, but also sometimes affects men. But the biggest issue is that women are dying in childbirth. So anytime a pregnant person gives birth, the baby and the mother die, which is an issue for people that want to keep populating the earth. And in this world, people are making women a commodity. So the main character is disguising herself as a man and going throughout this world trying to help women in bad situations as much as she can without putting herself in danger. And I just think that's a really unique and interesting take on this apocalyptic kind of story. Okay, 10, spoilers. Best twists to a book or series. And for this, I'm going with a recent read, City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. And at the end of this book, there are 2 major plot twists. One of them, I personally wouldn't describe as a plot twist. I feel like it was foreshadowed multiple times throughout the book, and I was genuinely just waiting for it to happen at the end. But there's a second plot twist that I did not see coming at all and had me like reading the book like at 1 a.m, saying out loud, what the fuck? What the fuck? Really enjoyed it. All right, 11. Series finale. Book you loved so much it broke your heart when it ended. Shit, I grabbed A Darker Shade of Magic, but actually it's A Conjuring of Light is the 3rd book in the series. The end of this book, I sobbed at the end of this series. The situation with Holland made me so sad. It weighed on me, but like, I can't even say it was an entirely sad situation. It was almost like a cathartic kind of crying, and I was kind of lucky in that I I came into this series pretty late. I was late on the hype train, and the night I finished it, the next trilogy, the Threads of Power series, was announced. So that was like a weight off my chest. I was like, oh, thank God, I'm not done with this world yet. All right, those are all the questions. I didn't write anyone down to tag. Let's see if I can. Just gonna go to YouTube real quick and see what's up. Some of these people might already be tagged because I know Tate asked if anyone wanted to be tagged and a bunch of people replied. So I'm gonna tag Knox Reads. I'll tag Zach Tries to Read. I don't even know if these people watch The Good Place. If you don't watch The Good Place, it's whatever. And misscocochen. So, like I said, if you don't watch The Good Place, I'm not bitter. You don't have to do the tag. And if you want to do this tag, check out Tate's video and go for it. But that's going to be it for today. I post book-related videos every Wednesday, so if you want to see more, subscribe. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to keep talking, you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Kelsey Reads or Goodreads at Kelsey Lynn Reads. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.